But one of the things I always find fascinating when we catch up, Michael, is you often have an eye on what's down the road. You know, for example, we've had a lot of conversations about various technologies or the shift towards various trends. I'm fortunate enough to have hung around with smart people for long enough. Some of it's rubbed off of me, and so I know my way around the servitization trend, for example. Like, I was kind of at the forefront of the understanding of that from a journalistic point of view. The technology is obviously a world we're embedded in. But one of the things that really struck me recently when we were having a conversation, and I know it's a focus for yourself at the moment, is the work that you're doing around service marketing. And that was I mean, we've been trying to set up get you onto the field service symposium since it launched. But one of the things that I really wanted to bring you on and specifically have that conversation was around that, because I think that's an area that it's woefully and there's nowhere near enough conversation around it. And one of the things I find when I speak to service directors, almost always, is they tend to have come up through the business. They may have come from a different service organisation, but they tend to have quite a myopic view of operations. They know the service more than the operations more inside out, and then they suddenly hit this level where they're starting to get to the VP or the service director level, and they find themselves, and I've heard this story so many times, they find themselves in that first executive meeting, and they've got to have a conversation with the CFO, and they may get 10 minutes to kind of represent the service division at a 2-hour meeting, and then it's like, right, questions from the CFO, questions from the CMO. The CEO expects everything to work wonderfully, and it's very much a sink or swim area. And there's a very big difference. Because I know my apples when it comes to marketing. I have to. I'm in publishing. And there's a very big difference between how you market service and how you market product. So that's a kind of a rambling segue into kind of getting you to talk to us a little bit about the importance of it, and just your thoughts, because I know the work you're doing at the moment. I just want to expand in that to begin. Let me leave the floor to you.
Right, Chris. Service marketing has always been a passion of mine. And it became that way was because early in my career, when I was doing the traditional management consulting, market research, and strategic planning, I'd often be confronted with this comment by members of the client's team. They'd say, "Oh, your market research says that there's a big opportunity for us to sell service contracts and offer added value services, but we're having a hard time selling our basic service. How are they going to buy these advanced services that your research says? We don't know that we can believe you." And what I did was I dug under the covers to find out what was going on. And what was going on is they just didn't know how to market it or even sell it. They just thought, since they had a captive market, and remember, these were mostly manufacturers I consulted to, they thought since they made the equipment, people should buy the service just because they made the equipment. And because they weren't buying the service, they naturally assumed there was no market. But that wasn't the case at all. They just weren't using the right approaches to marketing. They weren't stressing the value proposition of the service. They weren't identifying what problem or pain it could solve for the customer. They weren't aware of the value and use of the service, that the customer could lose a lot of money if they didn't get service in a timely manner.